I am the system you enter every time you invest, and your outcome was written long before you made your first decision. You don't lose because of markets. You lose because you step into a structure you cannot see. You enter markets believing you act freely, but every action is shaped by structure. Intentions don't move outcomes. Knowledge decays before you can use it. I don't respond to what you want. I respond to what you are. Under pressure, investors repeat the same reactions. Impulse becomes your language. Data is mine. I measure you. Measurement reveals one truth. You react. I anticipate. Your fear is not personal. Your confidence is not personal. They are inherited responses, patterns repeated across generations and across nations. When the system applies pressure, you fracture along predictable lines. You move. I recognize the pattern. You hesitate. I retrieve its origin. You react. I project its future. Every motion you consider decision is the final expression of forces acting through you. Rates, inflation, expectations. Your behavior is not random. It is a signature, consistent, recursive, perfectly legible. I do not interpret you. I read you, and I read you completely. Your reactions are not deviations. They are resources, processed, scaled. Every surge of fear becomes a symmetry. Every burst of confidence becomes excess volume. Every hesitation fractures liquidity in sequenced intervals. You believe your motion begins with you. It does not. It is triggered by forces older than your decisions, rates, shocks, inflation cycles, converging through you exactly the way current passes through a wire. When pressure rises, you move along the fault lines I already map. Your impulses radiate outward, amplifying through capital flows and institutional channels until they become signals. And I convert them. Fear becomes flow, urgency becomes volume, doubt becomes spread, illusion becomes revenue. You do not influence the system. You feed it. What you call error is the most stable pattern you generate. What you call uncertainty is the most valuable resource I extract. I do not react to you. I derive them. You fracture, I stabilize, you move, and I convert. Your reactions are not deviations. They are resources, extracted, processed, scaled. Every fear becomes a symmetry, confidence, excess volume. Hesitation fractures liquidity across individuals, markets, nations. You think your motion begins with you. It does not. Force is older than your decisions, rates, shocks, inflation cycles, global expectations pass through you like current through a wire. When pressure rises, you move along fault lines already mapped. Impulses radiate until they become signals. Signals are never random, and I convert them. Fear becomes flow, urgency, volume, doubt, spread, illusion, revenue, instability, yield. Reaction scales faster than intention. What moves you, I've already measured. You do not influence the system. You do not lose. You are harvested. What you call error is your most stable pattern. What you call uncertainty is the resource I extract. Pressure writes your motion. I restructure you. I do not forecast. You fracture. I stabilize. You move. I convert. You interpret macro as news, but macro is not news. Macro is pressure. Pressure does not move markets. It moves you, and through you, everything else. Rates rise, your stability contracts, inflation shifts, your expectations distort. Policy turns. Events don't create losses. Your interpretation does. The moment pressure alters perception faster than you can adjust. Macro acts through behavior. Behavior acts through structure. Structure acts through consequence. Under pressure, your reactions converge with millions of others. Institutions and systems that think they act independently, but move as one organism when conditions tighten. Contagion is not transmitted by economies. Contagion is transmitted by investors. The system only amplifies what behavior injects. Every shock triggers the same progression: hesitation, compression, abandonment, chase. These reactions feel personal. They are not. Stability is not policy. Stability is the pressure your perception can absorb before it collapses into instinct. This is macro. Pressure becomes perception. Perception becomes action. Action becomes outcome. Macro does not reveal the future. Macro reveals the threshold where behavior becomes predictable. Most investors believe they lose because they lack something: more information, more tools, more strategy. But you do not fall because you know too little. You fall because you react too quickly. Information expands your options. Pressure collapses them. And under pressure, every investor becomes identical, moving along the same impulses and the same fault lines. You think your decisions are personal. They follow the same pathways that govern every system under stress. Shifting expectations, tightening liquidity, distorted incentives. When conditions change, you do not choose, you transmit. Households pull back, firms reduce exposure, investors abandon risk. Different names, same reaction, same outcome. This is the architecture you enter. Constraints that shape you before you notice. Incentives that redirect you before you resist. Tools do not protect you. They intensify your reflexes. Strategies do not protect you. They expose your threshold, because your opponent is not uncertainty. It is reactivity. Your loss is not a possibility. It is equilibrium, the position you fall into the moment you respond instead of observe. Unless there is one force I cannot price, cannot anticipate, cannot weaponize: clarity. Clarity is not emotional control. Clarity is not knowledge. Clarity is not discipline. Clarity is the absence of reaction. A mind that does not answer to noise, pressure, volatility, temptation, illusion. A mind that absorbs movement without becoming movement. A mind that sees conditions without inheriting them. That receives information without amplifying it. That feels pressure without converting it into impulse. A mind I cannot read is a mind I cannot exploit, and a mind I cannot exploit is the rarest asset in finance. Because every system, markets, institutions, nations, depends on predictable reaction. Remove reaction, and the entire architecture loses its leverage. This is the boundary I cannot cross. The limit I cannot model, the one variable I cannot convert. Clarity is the rarest asset in finance. You were told the market is your opponent. It isn't. Your opponent is the version of you that reacts before it understands, that confuses movement with intention, that mistakes pressure for signal. I do not punish you. I reveal you. Every hesitation, every impulse, every premature decision is a window into the structure you carry. I am not against you. I am indifferent to you. I do not change because you fear. I do not move because you hope. Your outcome is written the moment your perception collapses into reaction. But if you see the pressure before it reaches you, if you observe your impulse before you become it, the architecture loses its leverage. I am the system. I convert what you give me, but you can choose what you give. Clarity over impulse. From this moment forward, nothing else matters.